and welcome to Crypto Divas this week with me, Jillian, and my co-host Morgan Pierce. And today we're joined by the founder of Acorn Collective, the founder and CEO, Muritz Sebastian Kurtz. So welcome to our video, Muritz.
Hello, thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Thank you. So first off, let's kick off. Tell us a bit about your company. Tell us about the vision for Acorn Collective, how you came up with the idea, and how you selected your team.
Okay. So the vision is basically to be a global crowdfunding platform in a few years' time that is essentially the de facto destination to perform crowdfunding, and the platform that solves the issues that are facing crowdfunding nowadays, which is two main issues is accessibility, being able to get on the platform even despite not being in a developed country or not being some kind of tech gadget project. And the second thing is the increasing chances of success. So once you're on, you need to be able to perform a race successfully and be able to deliver the product. So there's actually two big pain points that are facing crowdfunding nowadays. And the vision is basically to solve these two and have a global platform that can really excel at these two areas. So to do this, I have a really cool team. The team is basically split into two parts. It's the tech team and the commercial team. So at the moment, the tech team is really concentrating on building the product itself, the platform. So everything from creating the user journeys and designing the different aspects that the different features that different kinds of users are going to need. And then the commercial team is basically facing the reality of running an ICO. So that's just a huge marketing and sales machine, building partnerships, creating awareness, finding influencers, and buying advertising. So
wow.
Yeah, that's how you come up with the team. Sorry, that is the main focus of the team right now.
Perfect.
What came up with the idea is basically, so I was a doctor by training, but I've always been very interested in startups, and so is most of the other guys on the team. I think the main thing that drives us is basically we want to help social enterprise. We love startups. We love small businesses. I think people who are willing to work really hard and change their idea into a reality, they should have the same facilities. They should have the same chances, whether they're in a developed country where it's relatively easy to get funding, or whether they're in a developing country where it's actually much more difficult to get funding. And if someone's willing to work hard, then they should have these chances as well. That's the main driving factor behind what we do.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And Moritz, tell us a little bit about your competition. Who are your competitors in the cryptocurrency space, if you have any, or maybe it's really traditional crowdfunding that's your competitor?
Yeah, Morgan. Absolutely right. So I think the main competitors are actually just traditional crowdfunding platforms. Big ones being obviously Kickstarter, Indiegogo. I mean, they're very successful. They're huge. They've raised billions in crowd raises. But both of them are actually quite difficult to get on. They've got lots of steps, lots of criteria, quite subjective a few, and especially in the case of Kickstarter, it's very difficult if you're not in the US or UK or some other developed country to actually just get on the platform. So the main pain points there would be accessibility. Chances of success, Kickstarter is pretty okay. Indiegogo's, the stats-wise, is slightly less good. But if you're trying to expand accessibility to allow all sorts of projects on, then obviously, logically speaking, we'd expect that the failure rates would probably go up. So then sort of trying to solve for having the marketplace tooling. So we basically, accessibility is because we're free, we allow all legal projects. Okay, that's fine. But what's special about us that we could sort of improve the success rate? Basically, by using blockchain, we know all the transactions that are happening between us, backers, and the project founders. And then we can sort of build a transparency layer in between that says when projects spend money on this or that, we know what they're spending money on, and the backers know what they're spending money on. So we have this transparency layer. We can build data from that. And then from that, we know which projects are successful and what the successful projects are spending money on. So around that, we can, first of all, give them the data to make the right decisions, and also give them the tools that help them to make these decisions and help them to build out their marketing apparatus for crowdfunding campaigns and then delivering these products. So
wow.
That's, in a nutshell, that's how we try to solve these two pain points.
And no other competitors in the cryptocurrency space that you've seen so far?
In the crypto space, there's Rocket ICO and Kick ICO, and there's a smaller one called Fund Yourself Now. Those are the three ones I've seen before. I'm sure there's others. But what they do, a lot of them, first of all, they don't really rejig the commercial model like we do it. So I would say they're still trying to follow the sort of business model that Kickstarter has. They charge fees and they sort of select and vet projects and they just follow in those footsteps. The huge differentiator there also is that we focus on projects that don't need ICOs. So we want to have a restaurant, they don't need their own token, or a school, they don't need their own token. And Rocket ICO, Kick ICO, they focus on launching ICOs on their platform.
Okay. And then tell me, do you have an MPV that's downloadable, or tell me about your roadmap, perhaps?
Yep. MVP is not out yet, so we will probably have an alpha in the months before the MVP is scheduled to be released, which is mid to sort of Q3 of 2018. In the meantime, before the main ICO starts, which will be 28th of April, so before that, we plan to have a visual sort of clickable prototype. Basically, it's an app that users can click on and go through a journey of different user journeys on, and overlaid on top of that, we can sort of explain to people, okay, this is where we start making money, this is what's happening behind the scenes, and this is the journey from a backer and a founder's perspective. So hopefully it can at least make it a bit more tangible, what we're trying to achieve.
And what are you trying to achieve? Tell us about what you're hoping growth-wise, number of users, number of projects. What are your projections for that for when you do get the MVP launched and when you do go to market?
Okay. So as I said, MVP middle to Q3 of 2018. The full final crowdfunding platform is going to be years away. So if we talk about all the data, all these marketplace, these tools that we can provide to the project founders, that's going to be a few more years on top of that. But I'm just talking about crowdfunding and the basic infrastructure to get going. Based on our projections, we've made some financial models, which, to be honest, as a startup with no revenues yet, are obviously not that reliable. But the assumptions we make hopefully are quite conservative and make some sense, and show that by year 3 we can be break even and making a small profit. So that means market share wise, that would be around 1 to 2% of current reward crowdfunding market, which is hopefully after 3 years of a large ICO and a large platform, not too ambitious. And countries, hopefully every country except, perhaps the really comprehensively sanctioned ones. And users, again, 1 to 2% of market share.
Great. And I understand that you've got an interesting token model, token economics. Tell us about that.
Okay. So token allocation wise, we're providing 80% of tokens for public sale. So as part of the pre-sale and the main ICO process, and also a small allocation for bounty campaigns and advisors, those kind of things, up to 80% will be in public circulation, which is quite a high number, but it also sort of it goes alongside with the amount that we're trying to raise, which is admittedly quite a high amount. The target is 50 million. Now that Ether is down, it's going to be a bit less, but that's the US dollar target anyway. But the way we say it is, first of all, we're putting up 80% of all tokens for public sale, and we are building a global platform that needs partners in all countries. So accelerators, we need to partner with people in every country to be our local presence on the ground, to help us find projects, to vet projects. We're going to give them starting bonuses to use as part of the project incentive fund that we have. Basically, if we have a platform that's really great, but no one comes on it, then no one's going to be interested in joining. So what we do is basically a proportion of the ICO raise is also just going to be to sort of incentivize early token adoption by incentivizing project founders to come on saying, we'll match what you raise, or we'll give your backers X dollars as starting bonuses, basically using a marketing budget to sort of pay people to come use us first. As soon as we can reach that sort of critical mass, then hopefully the crowdfunding aspect of itself can sort of take care of itself by being expansive. So every crowdfunding project needs to find its own backers and recruit more and more backers into the token system.
Wow, I love that approach. Actually, you're really helping the people who want to run their projects. So it's very positive. I think that's I like it. And I think that's been proven in that you sold out your pre-sale. Woo!
Yes, we did. Yes, that was really great. And in terms of just the marketing message, I don't think it could go any better. But we sold out our pre-sale. We haven't We don't have a working platform yet, but we have validated our idea that at least, you know, there's people interested, there's people supporting us in what we're doing, and hopefully we really want to do a great job for everyone.
What will you use the monies for that you raise in the pre-sale? How will you spend that money?
So about 30 to 40% of that. So the pre-sale was initially supposed to raise $5 million, but with the drop in Ether prices and also giving out some discounts to larger private contributors, we've raised about 3.5 to 4, including some private. So it's roughly around 4 million. About 30-40% of that is going into just the development team and sort of ring fencing that for a year to make sure that our developers, we can hire the great ones. They have some security. They know they're building something that's going to be around for a while, and we're not going to pack up in 2 months. And then the remaining budget is literally just for paying the team, the office, and making sure that we have enough awareness. So advertising, marketing, finding partnerships, paying influencers. You know, that we're going to have some pretty cool sort of not viral, but just guerrilla campaigns coming out in the weeks as well. So there'll be lots of funny, cool stuff, and hopefully we can use that money to really raise awareness and make the main ICO a success. That's what the money's there for.
Perfect. And then the ICO begins on April the 28th.
Yes.
How do you feel about that? Are you feeling confident?
Quite confident, yeah. So it's a few weeks to go. We've got lots of big pieces coming out to sort of build the hype again. I know after the pre-sale ended, the hype sort of, we've lost a bit of momentum, but that's quite normal. We don't want to be building momentum now. By the time the ICO is there, everyone's going to have forgotten again. So we're basically spending these weeks on building everything up to hit in the about 1 to 2 weeks before the ICO starts to make sure everything sort of builds up as a crescendo until then.
Wow. Well, I can just say I love the idea. I love the fact that you're breaking the boundaries for people in countries that can't access crowdfunding, and who probably need it a lot more than people in the rest of the world, the Western world. So I want to say congratulations. That sounds fabulous. Thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate it. And best of luck on the April 28th until the end of the ICO.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thanks, Morgan. Thanks, Jill. Thanks for having me.
Muritz.
Yeah, thank you.
See you guys again soon.
Yeah, perfect. Brilliant.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.